Today on the Topping Show, New York City construction worker tells Biden to go F himself. Elon Musk climate change communism tweet goes viral on X Twitter. Vivek on deporting unelected bureaucrats and illegals. Tennessee passes a bill to criminalize doctors for giving quote-unquote gender-affirming care to children. Biden says women in the 1970s sent him salacious pictures, oddly enough. Google Alphabet Q1 results are in and they're so good they're paying their first-time dividend. Room and board to become employee-owned. And Hertz EV losses continue to pile up. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. I say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Google Alphabet Q1 results are in. They're so phenomenally good, they're paying a dividend for the first time ever, which is one of the rarest things to see, especially in the technology segment. I mean, some of the old legacy traditional areas where you look for dividends, which, again, not financial advice, but just doing some anecdotal research. Some of the industries you usually see paying dividends historically are more telecom. You see a lot of the oil companies. It's one of the reasons investors love them, because they're giving you a quite literally a reoccurring reason to continue to hold their stock and not sell it. Now, this comes with thanks to LinkedIn News, and specifically it's by Jake Perez, and they say, quote, Google parent Alphabet's first quarter earnings and revenue heavily beat analyst expectations, and the tech giant sweetened the news by announcing the first ever dividend, which immediately pushed shares even higher, of course. Encouraging developments didn't stop there. Google-owned YouTube reported $8.1 billion in advertising sales, which is even exponentially better when you consider that's a 20% increase over the same time period a year ago. Now, they also know that its cloud and search business also exceeded expectations. Alphabet said its 20 cents per share dividend will be paid out on June 17th, and it, quote, intends to pay each quarterly cash dividends in the future, unquote, which, again, these tech companies is one of those things where they're much more of a gamble, and again, not financial advice, but if you look historically, a lot of the old school investors like Berkshire Hathaway, I mean, their biggest outlier in his portfolio is Apple. Pretty much all the other ones are very more commodity based, and there are things that are very difficult to compete in. So they require a substantial upfront cost, upfront investment, and the industries are usually very tight, as youth might say. Not a lot of competition. Now, they also noted that, let's see, specifically, the company logged $80.5 billion in revenue for the first quarter, up 15% from the same period last year, led by a 28% increase in cloud sales. Net income jumped 57% to $23.66 billion. However, they noted that Google's ad revenue also jumped 14% as a search unit recovered from a year in which high borrowing costs and inflation crippled sales. Which, yep, their cloud is really starting to compete with the big boys, as you might say, because if you look at the revenue, when you look at cloud, you have some people who like store photos in cloud, but the overwhelming application is business use cases, with Amazon Web Services, or AWS, being by far the biggest market share. So then secondly is usually Microsoft Azure, which they renamed to something else after they built that brand up for reasons. And then of course you have Google coming in. So I suspect they're going to continue to lean into the cloud because, again, it's highly profitable. It's extremely beneficial from a consumer perspective or a business perspective because it provides a lot of flexibility. Back in the day, if you wanted to build out a data center, you had to buy your own servers, your storage, and you have to hold it on-prem. Now, simply put, instead of having a whole bunch of laptops in your house, you have an iPad or a Chromebook where there's not a lot of compute on it, and it connects to laptops across town in like a warehouse. Very simply put, that's kind of the concept of using someone else's data center, or aka their cloud. And I suspect they're going to continue to lean into that because, again, it's highly profitable, it's highly scalable, and a lot of companies don't want to deal with the hassle. Now, granted, of course, there are trade-offs. If you ever want to go away from the cloud, the regress fees or ingress fees, there's astronomically expensive. That's where they make a lot of their money. So it'll be interesting to see continue to grow and dominate in pretty much every sector. And of course, hindsight's always 2020. If I look at their stock, can't help but think, how many kidneys do we need to sell to buy one share of Google stock these days? Let's see here. Google stock coming in at... Oh, that's fascinating. I thought it'd be more expensive than Nvidia, but granted, let's see here. So 1 year, yeah, the 5-year trend's up 173%. 1 year it's up 66%. Year to date is up 24%. Past 6 months it's grown by 40%. Currently trading at $173.87 per share. Granted, by the time this video is actually rendered and uploaded to the Google Cloud, aka the YouTube platform, and as well as Rumble, well, then it will probably change because that's how the stock market works. Current market cap of $2.15, not billion, trillion dollars. And I know it's kind of cliche, you know, everyone knows Google is one of the most successful companies in history, but I think sometimes people forget how astronomically successful they are in so many different segments that leads them to have these astronomical success points. So let me know, do you think, I don't want to say the Las Vegas odds are 0%, but what do you think of the odds that Google will ever go away in our lifetime or decrease? Again, there's no such thing as a sure bet, definitely not financial advice, but geez, ladies, they continue to just do phenomenally great. But as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leave me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.